Hello everyone. Welcome to In the Garden with Joyful Living. I am your host, Kimberly Dixon. Come on in everybody. We're just getting started today. We have a special guest. We have a great message for you. So come on in, share the video. We have some really important things to talk about on today. We are recording live from Shanae's page on Facebook as well as my page personally. So regardless of how you're seeing this video, like it, share it, comment. We won't be able to answer questions immediately today because of the distance that we are, but we will go back and make sure that all of your questions get answered. So come on in. We're just going to give it a few minutes just for everyone. But while we're waiting just for a few people to join us, this is your second visit to the garden.
Yes, but it's in a whole different location this time.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful just as it was when I first saw it. You are doing amazing work.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I admire you.
Oh, wow. Great.
I do. Because every time I see you harvesting your stuff, I'm always like, if only I had the time and the patience to, like, do all of this, you know?
Yeah.
It would be a beautiful thing, but I'm excited for you and the garden.
Well, thank you, and you know you're always welcome to any of the produce that comes from it. But gardening is my peace.
Yeah.
It is a way for me to connect with God. It's a way for me to connect with my father that I lost last year because he taught me how to grow vegetables.
Okay.
My mother taught me about what I know about flowers, but it was my father who taught me how to grow food.
Okay.
So it's a way for me to connect with nature, God, my dad. It's just a very spiritual experience for me.
Right.
And whenever I see a vegetable growing, to me it's watching God and work.
Oh, wow.
It's like to be able to take a seed, put it in the ground, and it produce another piece of fruit that has hundreds, if not thousands of seeds in it that will do the very same thing.
Wow.
God created humans as well and nature to reproduce itself.
Right.
But that's not why we're here today.
That'll preach a word, Pastor Kim. That'll preach a word.
Okay. Look, I need to do I guess a sermon or something on that.
Harvesting and seeds and reproducing and all of that. Absolutely.
So it's all intended by naturally by God.
Yes.
But I see that we've got some people watching, so we're going to go ahead and get started today.
Let's get started.
As I said, this is a special edition of In the Garden with Joyful Living because we normally come to you live on Saturday mornings. But today we have a special guest here. My guest today is Shanae Artis. Shanae, tell everybody about yourself.
So, I'm Shanae Artis, for you guys who do not know me. Title-wise, I'm an author, I'm a mother, I am a believer, I am a woman that just is enjoying life right now. I'm originally from New York. I moved down to North Carolina, my daughter and I, maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, and our life has just been transforming ever since we got here. And I'm really happy to be in the garden with Kim today. Kim and I have been friends for some years now, and just seeing, like I said, seeing you go from starting with small things to this big, beautiful garden is so exciting.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to have you.
So I'm happy to be here today and just to share a little bit with you guys about my keto journey and my experiences and answer any questions that you might have about it.
And as I said earlier, if you have any questions as we go along through the interview, be sure to put them in the comments. We'll come back later and answer all of your questions.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned it just now. You've been on a journey for a little over a year now.
Yeah.
Tell us about your journey with keto.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, I've actually been on a journey with health and wellness for over 20 years.
Okay.
Actually, when I was 16 years old, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and it's something that has run in my family. Grandparents, great-grandparents have had it, and I also had it as well. Growing up as a teenager, I'm sure you can imagine hearing doctors say your diet and your exercise is so important to keeping you healthy, blah, blah, blah. Was something I constantly heard, but I had no idea of what that really meant. You know what I mean? Like, I heard them telling me I needed to do these things, but I had no idea what it really meant to be healthy, and to watch my diet and all that kind of stuff. And so it wasn't until, and it was a spiritual experience, so I know that might be a little woo-woo for some people, but it's true. One day I was in church, maybe like 3 years ago, and it really just dropped in my spirit. I don't want to be sick.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be a sick wife, a mother, a business owner. I just don't want to be a sick woman, period.
Yeah, because why have to manage a disease if you don't have have a disease?
Right.
Because that takes a lot of time, energy,
money. Yeah.
And like, so
yeah.
I don't want to be sick.
I don't want
That
to be
is a
sick.
spiritual experience.
That was a spiritual experience. You know, I have been asking God and praying to God, I want to do all this, I want to have all this, and it's like, how if you're sick? How does that work?
Mm-hmm.
So, what happened from that point was, you know, and I know it was God leading me to that place of frustration with my current lifestyle choices and my diet and my weight and all of that. So what happened was I started to pray and I started to ask God, please send help.
Mm-hmm.
Please send somebody in my life that could teach me what I need to do, because I don't know what these doctors are talking about. You know what I mean? I don't understand what they need. They're sending me to nutritionists and all of these people, but I need somebody, I need help. And so it's a woman from my church who also was diabetic, and she referred me to her doctor. And from there, I started to see her doctor. Her doctor referred me to a keto doctor that was starting to work with the practice. And it was he's an Asian man, very unconventional, does his own thing. And I got connected with him, and I'm telling you, it changed my life. Literally, it changed my life.
It's like sometimes unconventional, because what I've learned through the years of dealing with, and I have nothing against doctors. I have some great doctors.
Yeah.
But what I've learned is what Western medicine is not meant to cure you.
Right.
It's to manage and to treat.
Exactly.
So that you create this never-ending cycle of managing a sickness.
Exactly.
When, as you said before, why manage something if you don't have to be sick?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I prayed too. I was like, Lord, I need you to send somebody that, because in my mind, I had done my own research. You know, reading different books from different doctors, watching YouTube, and really trying to find out what is diabetes, what is it doing to my body, you know, what do I need to do for it not to do that to my body. And I learned that it's possible to reverse it. So I had it ingrained in my mind that it's possible. Like, I do not have to be on insulin. I do not have to take medicine. And the doctor that I was working with at the time, and all the doctors before her, were adamant that this is something you'll have for the rest of your life. You have to take this medicine, and like you said, you got to manage it. That's all you can do.
Okay, now I want you to look in the camera and tell everybody again that you don't have to have diabetes.
You don't have to have type 2 diabetes.
Because I hear that, especially in our community, all the time. Most doctors are not going to tell you can reverse it.
They're not.
They'll just teach you how to manage it when it's doing damage
to your organs
all the time, from the medication as well as from the disease.
Right.
So now you're losing people in their 60s, 70s, or 50s to a premature death that they didn't have to have.
And even younger than that.
You're right.
40s and 30s.
I knew you were diabetic, but not since you were 16.
Yeah, and God forbid if I would have continued on the journey that I was on, I could have lost my eyesight. I mean, I know women right now who are in their 40s, they're losing toes and limbs, like they're losing body parts as a result of type 2 diabetes. I don't know much about type 1, that wasn't my story.
Right.
But type 2 diabetes, I am firmly convinced, and can't nobody tell me otherwise, that it is a reversible disease, and we do not have to have type 2 diabetes.
Okay, so you saw the doctor who embraces traditional as well as alternative means of healing. Tell us about exactly what is keto and what it isn't. Because I think there's some misunderstanding around that.
There are some really big misconceptions about keto. So keto is a diet in which you are intentionally, it's changing your metabolism. It's taking your body from burning glucose, which is sugar, which comes from carbohydrates, rice, potatoes, bread, some vegetables, and a lot of the high sugar fruits like peaches and watermelons and apples and things like that.
You just said everything I like except for apples.
Listen, everything we like, right? We all like it. But when you consume those type of foods, they break down into sugar, and then your body uses that as energy to keep you going. We need energy to continue to move and go, and for our brain to work or what have you. Keto is a lifestyle. It's a way of eating to stop your body from using sugar, which if you have too much sugar, it will store as fat in your body, and that's how we gain weight. But you never burn the fat. So keto is stopping your body from stopping you from eating the sugar, and instead switching your body to burning fat
Okay.
as your source of fuel, and that's how you lose the weight.
Okay. It's like, so instead of that quick energy and that boost that
Right.
you get from sugar,
Right.
when you're exercising, if you've been eating those things, you're just
Right.
burning off that quick sugar,
Right.
and never tackling the fat.
The
that's
fat
there.
that's being stored, exactly. But with keto, because you're not eating the sugar, you're depriving your body of those sugars, of those carbohydrates. It has no choice but to burn something else, because again, in order to function, it needs energy. So the only thing it can use is fat.
Okay.
And
The
that's how
stored
you
fat.
lose the weight, the stored fat.
So you look fantastic.
Thank you.
You were always beautiful, though. You just
I know.
but you have this light about you.
Thank you.
She don't have an ego, not at all. But you are absolutely stunning, and you
Thank
look
you.
fantastic.
Thank
so,
you.
how long have you been doing keto?
So July made a year.
Okay.
Well, let me stop. July made the year that I was consistent with keto. This is my second journey with keto. My first journey with keto, I did the same thing that everybody else does. And I need to say this to the people, because a lot of people that talk to me about keto, they always make comments like, well, when you start keto and then you stop, you're going to gain the weight. Well, that's the point. You don't start and stop. You keep going. You make it a lifestyle, not just a diet. And that's what any change that we want to make in life, right?
Absolutely.
We make it a lifestyle. We don't make it just a quick, momentary thing that we do and then go back to the same old habits and expect to have the good results.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
I think you hit on the operative word there, with it being a lifestyle,
Right.
because so many of us have bought into this diet mentality
Right.
and the fads,
Right.
and they think it's something that you can start, lose the
Right.
weight you want,
And then
stop,
go back.
and then maintain your weight. But it
Right.
doesn't work that way.
It doesn't.
If you go back to the same eating
Yes.
habits and the same lifestyle,
Yes.
then you pick the weight back up plus some.
Right.
So
And
this
that's
is a
what happens.
lifestyle that once you make the commitment to do it, it's a lifelong journey.
It's a lifelong journey, and that's what happened to me. I started originally in 2019 is when I started meeting with the doctor, and I lost 30-something pounds. And when COVID came around in 2020, I think I went to LA in February, and that was like, I started teetering down. And once everything shut down, I was like everybody else. I mean, emotional. We don't
Right.
know what life is gonna be like. It's just so much going on. My daughter was out of school. I mean, like, Lord have mercy. How am I supposed to work in? I ain't no teacher. Okay. I'm not a school teacher, and I gained all my weight back.
Okay.
And then in July of 2020 is when I said, I'm going back to Dr. Shea, and I'm going to get my life together. And I'm going to give myself a year to stick with this and see what happens.
Okay.
And so July made the year, and I love where I am.
Okay. So you've been doing this for a year now. During the course of that year, did you have any stumbling or any wobbles, or where you ate something that wasn't on keto?
Right. Of course.
Okay, I knew you had, but
Of
I
course,
I didn't want to be presumptuous.
Yeah, no, of course, because we're
How did
human
you
beings.
recover from that? Because often when we've made decisions to make the lifestyle changes, all it takes is a weekend.
Right.
And before you know it, it's been a month, and
that's
now
good.
6 months.
That's good. So what I do, even now, when I do think about eating something that's off my diet, number one, I don't make it a weekend. I don't even make it a day, okay? I make it one
Okay.
thing. And I space that timing out of when that thing happens. Like, for instance, I went to a party, and they made, like, some potato salad, and they had cake and all of that, and I had a little bit, and that was it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I discipline myself enough to say, all right, Shanae, you are human. You see that potato salad, and you know you want some. Get you 2 spoonfuls, and not the big spoon, like the regular size spoonfuls. Whet your little appetite, and then keep it moving about your business. I also, along with doing keto, I do intermittent fasting.
Okay.
So sometimes when I'm feeling like, when I have those moments, or I feel like I've consumed more than what I've needed, I will fast intentionally just to help reduce the bloating and kind of get my body and my mind back into my
And
keto.
allow that food that you consume to process
Yeah.
through your system without putting more food on top of it.
Right.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, Kim, because I've been doing this for so long, my body knows what it does not need. And so, like, when I had the potato salad,
Didn't feel good,
It did not feel good.
Yeah.
So those little things kind of help to keep me on track.
Okay. So I've done keto before.
Okay.
The last 2 years, I'd say, I've been teetering back and forth with being pre-diabetic.
Right.
And it was one of those things where diabetes ran in our family. Y'all please pardon that, we are outdoors. Diabetes ran in my family, but I knew that it wasn't something that wasn't going to be my story.
Right.
So back in January, I did keto and intermittent fasting.
Okay.
Stuck with it about a month.
Okay.
Went to the doctor. He was like, I don't know what you're doing, but your pre-diabetes status is gone. Whatever it is, keep doing it. But immediately after that, my brother got severely ill with COVID and was hospitalized for a long time.
Okay.
Now, mind you, I had just lost my father a few months prior to that. And when I say I fell hard.
Oh, wow.
And so I have picked up, I'm heavier now than you've ever known me to be. It's like, so I picked it all back up, but recently I've been thinking about just all of this. Like, of course, I'm still not pre-diabetic.
Right.
And I was like, but I don't want to be.
Right.
So I wanted to have this discussion with you here today because it's not just affecting your life and it's not just affecting my life. There are tens of thousands, millions of people who have type 2 diabetes.
Right.
And just like my in the garden yesterday, you don't have to stay there.
You don't have to stay there.
So tell us about the Keto Connection. What is the Keto Connection?
So, the Keto Connection, well, let me just say this to y'all. I recently just started a Facebook group called the Keto Connection because I've been sharing my keto journey on my personal Facebook page for the past year, and a lot of people have been reaching out asking questions, wanting information on recipes and tips and all that kind of stuff. So I created a Facebook group in which people that want to be a part of and want to get support with their keto or low carb journey, or just learn more about it, or get recipe ideas and things like that, they would have the space to do it safely, you know. Unfortunately, last weekend, my page got my personal page got compromised. So right now I don't have access to the Keto Connection group or my other personal Facebook page. So I recently started a new personal page, which is Shanae Artis, the page that's tagged here, and I'm probably going to restart the Facebook group again with my new page if I can't gain access again. But basically, like I said, it's a community for people to come together, to share encouragement, share information, get tips about keto, and really to learn about how to go from their current lifestyle to a low-carb lifestyle if that's what they want.
Okay. So you see, we're sitting here in a lush garden with lots of vegetables and things of that growing. So you would think a person who grows food enjoys cooking, but I don't. Not at all.
Not at all.
Most of what I grow is either consumed raw or is consumed roasting. Okay. Something like that. Because I shared with you earlier, I did the whole like making pizza with a cauliflower crust. You shredded the cauliflower, and the whole process is 12 days. And it's a pizza this big. And I think that was part of the reason why I didn't continue with it. It was like because
convenience.
I don't like to cook. It was taking a long time, and then I had all the emotional surge going on in my life. That was a prime season for just to let everything go. Yeah. What would be your tip for someone who doesn't like to cook, and for me to say I'm a cook every day? That's a lie. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point, because I like to cook, so I don't mind chopping. And it's a long process. It is, and it can become arduous if you don't like cooking. The beautiful thing. Our world is a microwave society, and so you can always find pre-chopped cauliflower rice already in the frozen aisle.
Really?
Buy that, yeah.
I didn't know that.
You can find zoodles, meaning zucchini, that's already been spiralized into noodles for you in the freezer aisle. Like, you can find the things that are already pretty much brought to the state that it needs to be out of it. Right, so that all you need to do is put the food together and cook it or what have you. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I would say to do. Okay. Buy stuff if you're not growing those things yourself, just buy it already done in the store. Okay. Yeah, save yourself time, because I do that too. Like I'm not cutting up no whole cauliflower. Like, I'm not doing that unless I have one and I'm you know, for a reason. But most times I'm buying cauliflower rice. I might buy already my zoodles that I want or what have you. It doesn't have to be long and hard.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier that you have a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Is she doing the keto with you, or are you having to prepare 2 different meals?
Yeah, that's a good question. So parents, we do not have to prepare 2 meals. Let me tell you, number one, kids are very adaptable. Okay. My daughter.
Go back to that old family. You eat what I fix.
You eat what I put on this here table, and if you don't want it, then you
don't
just don't
eat.
eat. Right. So
some things you just have to be old school about.
You do, especially with these kids.
Yeah.
They did something good for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I only cook 1 meal, period. However, I do buy other little things. So like sometimes if she wants some rice, she's 12, so she can make the rice.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes if I am cooking something like my keto lasagna or my keto ziti, sometimes I'll make it regular and then just boil her some noodles and then just put it on top of the noodles for her. But for the most part, she eats how I eat. I make the food, she eats it, and that's just that. I don't force her into anything. Like when we go out, if she wants to order something that's not keto friendly, then that's fine, you know. But in terms of what we're doing in the home, because I have to be mindful of myself, and also it does run in the family.
Yeah, but you don't want her to be a diabetic.
Having those habits either. Exactly. So if I can manage that by being mindful of what she ingests right now, I do.
That's like, because even if she doesn't realize it now,
right,
she's forming a lifestyle.
She is.
So even when she starts to eat independently of you,
yes,
she won't not necessarily be going for the potatoes and the rice and the fries every day.
Every day, yeah.
Because that's not what she's learned.
Right.
Which, you know, from our generation, we had a green, a starch, and a meat, and a biscuit, and the meat was fried.
Yeah.
So speaking of fried, how do you prepare meat? Is it baked and broiled and roasted, or?
So I have an air fryer, and let me tell you, I haven't turned my oven on in so long. I have me an air fryer, and I absolutely love it. So I fry chicken in there, and it's, of course, it's not country fried chicken.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have all of that, but it's good enough for me. You know what I mean? It satisfies my needs.
So that you made an important point there. Whenever you're doing something of this nature, it's important that you set your expectation up from the very beginning.
Yes.
Because if you set your mind like, oh, this is going to taste like fried chicken, my grandma's fried chicken, it's not.
Right.
And your mind is already going to say, I don't like this.
Right.
But if you're willing to try something different, then you may find out, oh, I like this.
Right.
It doesn't taste the exact same way, but I enjoyed this, and and you learn to enjoy different experiences for that experience, as opposed to comparing it to your grandma's apple pie. It ain't grandma's apple pie. It ain't gonna taste like apple pie. So I'm gonna tell you what made me want to do this interview. I don't know if you even remember it, but I saw a video you had posted on your previous page of some keto ice cream you had made.
Ooh,
and girl, what I tell you was, she was like, y'all, I don't mean to smack my lips. It's like, this is delicious, and I was like, okay, I gotta talk to her about this. It's like, because this is information that we all need to hear. So I'm making a new commitment.
Okay.
I am going to commit to doing keto again, because when I was doing it with the intermittent daily fasting, where I ate between the hours of 12 and 8.
Okay.
And I know it works because it reversed my pre-diabetes status.
Right.
So if somebody wants your support, is there a charge for that? What are you doing with this? Is this a business?
So
baby?
listen, it's at this point, it is not a business. At this point, it is me sharing what my process was. I have people pushing me to make it a business. And I don't know, I might create something later on down the line where people can get my support with this. But as of right now, if people have questions or people want to learn more about keto, or they want to get information and tips like that, please follow me on Facebook right now. I also have an Instagram page. It's called I'm.so.keto. And you'll see my face there. You can follow me on there as well. I am going to be writing a cookbook, though. That's something that I am going to be doing.
I look forward to seeing that.
I am going to be making a cookbook to share some of my recipes. Like I said,
can you put that ice cream recipe in there?
Absolutely. That's on the list. But in this process, I've learned so much about myself. You know, I've learned that I do like cooking. You know, for me, it's kind of like therapeutic. I enjoy making meals and food that not only is healthy for me and for my daughter, but also that tastes good. You know what I mean? And so I do want to share that with other people. Okay. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
That is awesome. Well, I am so glad we had an opportunity to sit down and talk
Yes,
today
me
for this
too.
special edition of In the Garden with Joyful Living.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to share with the audience before we leave today?
I just want to say to anyone who is thinking about or interested in making a lifestyle change, please know that you can do it. Like, please know that yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to, rub up against everything you know. But I'm telling you, I mean, if y'all knew how I used to eat every night, I used to have a Little Debbie's cake. I love Little Debbie's cupcakes. You know what I mean? Like, my habits were so bad, but because of my why, I know a lot of coaches out there say you have to know what your why is to stay committed to something. But if you know what I mean, that you want to be here for a long time, that you want to do great things, none of us know when it's our time to go. But I ain't trying to make it sooner than what it needs to be. Like, I'm just trying to live, okay? If you're really wanting to make changes, it's not easy, and it's never going to be easy. I struggle too when I go places.
As they do with the spoken words, rewind.
Yeah.
Say that again.
It's not easy. It ain't never going to be easy.
Woo.
Never.
Girl,
but you know what?
Church right
Commitment. Commitment to not just a lifestyle, but commitment to yourself. Commitment to treating yourself better. And we talk as women, we always talk about loving ourselves. Well, how do we love ourselves if we don't take proper care of our bodies? We only get one of these things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How do we really love ourselves if we don't take care of us?
Okay. Girl, you didn't took us to church right there.
Like
that.
That.
It's like, but they do come up and throw some money at your feet.
Yeah.
But, so for that person who is just in it, they want to do keto, they want to be healthier, but they're mainly concerned about the weight loss.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to share how much weight you've lost?
I've lost over 40 pounds right now, and that's within a year of consistency. But let me tell you, it's not even just the weight. I've lost at least 15 inches. And one of the things that I've learned, and that's from my stomach, one of the things that I've learned is that I gain weight in my stomach.
Girl, as we get older, I think all of us do. Because I'm like, I've been a big girl my whole life, but where did this gut come from?
Yeah.
Though? And then it doesn't want to budge
It
now.
doesn't. And so I went from looking literally 6 months pregnant. I was telling my cousin the other day, my cousin was saying to me, her daughter, one day, she called me. I had seen her and her daughter asked her, Mommy, is Auntie Shanae pregnant? And that thing has stuck with me. And this was like 2-3 years ago. That thing stuck with me.
Yeah.
Just the fact that here I am thinking I look good and I'm walking around pregnant. No wonder why I'm still single. He might think I'm with child or something. You know what I mean? Like, this
That
is
is
not
too
the
funny. So
life.
you might think you with child.
Yeah, and I'm just with
But
that.
like out of the mouths of babes, and she wasn't doing it to be
Listen,
hurtful or mean. She
at
thought
all.
you were
She
pregnant.
really thought I was pregnant. Yeah, and so not just the weight loss has been impeccable. The mental growth that I've experienced. I mean, I realize that in that point in my life, I was not happy with who I was. I was depressed, y'all. Like, seriously, did not like myself. I mean, I just can even now see how I used to soak around my house, just not feeling good about myself because I hated how I looked. I hated what I didn't have in my life. I hated this, hated that. I had a lot of anxiety. Like, literally a lot of anxiety. All of those things I don't have.
Thank you for sharing that, because so many of us, we walk around every day with a mask on, and we are not willing to take the mask off that will allow us to get our healing.
Right.
It's like, but in order for us to be healthy, healed, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, we got to take that mask off.
Take the mask off.
It's like, because as long as you got that mask off, you never even see the reality of it.
Yeah, we got to be honest with ourselves.
Yep.
So if a new lifestyle change regarding your health and your wellness is something that you want to do, try keto. And can I just say one more thing? I know we got to go, but I really want to say this because I've tried different things. I personally have done veganism. I've done plant-based diet. I tried to be a vegetarian. I've done several things.
I was around for a few of those.
Yeah, the only thing that has worked for me is keto because that's what works best for me. But let me just say, everybody will not do well on a keto friendly diet. I know, as being someone with diabetes, the carbs are my issue, so I have to leave those off. But other people might have other stuff that they can't do, you know what I mean, where they can have carbs. People go vegan and lose a lot of weight. So I'm not saying, and I will never say, that keto is the way for every person in this world, because your body was created by God, not me. I don't know what you need. But what I will say is, if you want to try, give it a try and see.
It's an option.
It's an option.
It is a valid and concrete
option
with the proof and the backing, and you don't have to be a diabetic.
You don't have to be a diabetic.
It's like, but we need to be willing to explore those options that are going to allow us to live the life that God intended for us to live, because we weren't created to be sick.
Yeah. And can I just say one more thing too? Because you stuff come up in my mind.
Yes, go ahead.
This is the thing that used to bug me out and has bugged me out. You know, as black people, I'm going to talk to my folk, as black people, especially black Christians, we always run to the altar asking God to heal us. What if your healing comes in the form of changing your lifestyle? What if your healing is not in, you having to get all these different kinds of treatments and doing all of this, but your healing comes in you making a decision to do something different? Because how is it that we constantly want healing, but we don't want to make changes?
Yeah. Because people always say, I'm waiting on God. And my first response to that is, I think he might be waiting on you.
Right.
Like, he's giving you the information. He's giving you everything that you need to go to move forward. Yes. But you don't want to got to put the work into it. What does it say? Faith without works. Dead. And we don't want to do the work.
Right.
Everything is work.
It's work.
Just like you said earlier. What you say?
I said it
ain't easy.
It ain't easy. It ain't never going to be easy. And that's the truth.
Absolutely.
That's the truth. But with God, all things are possible. And so, that's my story.
Thank you so. This has been absolutely wonderful.
I love talking to you. Anytime we get together, I think the last time we sat for 2 hours just chatting.
Just chatting in the garden. You was like, I'm just stopped by. I ain't got time for this.
Right.
And we kept talking.
Kept talking. But we went from the back to the front to the driveway. Then finally got in the car. We're still talking.
Absolutely.
So,
that's just what happens when you have a natural connection with somebody.
Yeah.
It's like, because I remember the night that I met you, and then we met several other people there that same night. But the connection with you has been maintained, but with those, it didn't.
Yeah. That's because you're a beautiful woman. Because you are a joyful living, girl. When I need some joy, I know where to go.
Thank you. And that's all because of the Father, though.
Yeah.
Because I asked him for that.
Yeah.
As I asked him for the love, the peace, the joy, all of that. And I was like, when I walk into a room, God, I want them to see you, not me.
Amen.
It's like, so the simple fact that you said that means that he's answered my prayer.
Amen.
But Shanae, thank you so much for sharing the Keto Connection. So when you get the page back in, either when you get access gained to the old page or your new one up and running, let's do this again, because I want people to be able to get off of the live and go to your page and join. And or follow or however you've got it set up so that they can continue on this journey, and because we all need some support in this world.
We do. And just so you know, it's a community. It's not just about Shanae and Shanae's journey. Like, I want it to be a space where other people feel empowered to come and to share and to encourage and support. You know what I mean? Where I'm creating the container for all of us to do that in a safe space.
Well, thank you, my sister.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Well, guys, thank you for watching this special edition of In the Garden with Joyful Living with my with my special guest, Shanae Artis, and the Keto Connection. Guys, we'll talk to you soon. I love you. Bye-bye.